Well, guys, how's it going? So I have no clue what day it is. I don't remember. It's just one of those days. Trying to get things done. Sun's finally out. We've been getting so much freaking rain over here that, I mean, it's good for the hay, but it's not good for everything else. So yeah, I did mow my front or my yard for the first time this year. Was debating on if I was gonna make a video on that or not, but I never did. So it wasn't really all that special because usually the first cut, while the whole entire yard's not 100% ready, it's only like the front yard and maybe over in and by the shop. The grass grows over there really good, but for the rest of the yard, it's, you know, pretty much still dead. I need to get a thrasher or whatever they call these stupid machines. Basically, it's got tines on it and it pulls the dead grass off the dirt, you know. I need to get me one of those. I don't know, I think parts of my yard are kind of thinned out, I think, because there's so much dead grass there. So I just need to do what I said. And then I got to get a lawn sweeper as well. There is one not too far from home for sale. It's used. He only wants $100 for it, and it looks like it's in decent shape. So, but I guess I should jump on it, but it's not gonna happen for a while. So, but yeah, and the other thing I got done doing, well, I still got to trim yet too. I know I'm kind of going back and forth here, but I just got done harrowing poo again, and there wasn't, I don't know, the west side of the pasture was way worse than the north side, and usually they like to spend the most amount of their time in it's more packed this time on the south side. I'm actually backwards to how I'm thinking here, but so it's the south side of a pasture that's the most packed. Normally it's the west side, which would be the square part of our pasture, or the main pasture. Of course, I guess, I don't know, it was all fenced off, but we took the fence all, down because it was coming down anyway, lack of maintenance, and we really weren't in that business of splitting our cattle in half. So, and if we need to, we'll just put up a electric fence. So, but yeah, so I had the tractor running again, a little A. I got a little clip of it during cool down, and then I shut it off my camera, of course. So I'll be sure to insert that here. So yeah, so it was it was running all right, I guess. I don't know. I think it could still use a carburetor rebuild, but I don't know. It didn't stall out on me like it did last year, so I don't know what its problem was. Just being goofy, I guess. I don't know. Or it could have been the fact that when I actually adjusted the floats, or the float, it actually helped it some. So, but if that's what it did, that's what it did. That's a good thing then, but it still needs to be rebuilt anyway, because I noticed it leaks a little bit. Mostly when you forget to turn the kill switch on, and you're just sitting there cranking it, and you're cranking the shit out of it, but it's getting all the fuel. Yeah. She leaks. But it needs new gaskets between the carburetor and the manifold there, or whatever. I think that's included with the kit, so I have all that. Looks like I got people fishing. The other thing is the manifold. You'll see it in the video. Well, you won't see it too good in the video because I had the pipe on, but just under that pipe there's a crack there, and I think that's a new crack, so that manifold's not going to last too much longer. I'm sure it'll last for the rest of the year. I might try to order one this fall. That'll be a next year problem. But whatever. So yeah, and I also got done, well, this was a couple days ago. I cut these trees up, the ones that were laying in this 12-acre piece here. This was from when the power company came through to trim the trees around the power lines and poles. They left some in the field here. So I finally got the farm boss up and running. I came down here and I cut those. And then there's one that was in the ditch on the farm road, and part of that I mow, so it's kind of in the way, so I just cut it up and got rid of it. So I have 2 more trees I got to cut up yet, which they're just kind of whatever. I got one on the trail. Now my uncle, it's way at the north end, but my uncle pushed it out of the way with the 400, but he did a shitty job of it, so it's still in the way. So no matter what, I got to come down here and cut it up anyway. And then down here, no, it's going to be hard to see with the trees, but in there, maybe we'll just go in there. I'll show you better. But I'm taking my same route because I don't like driving throughout the whole entire field anymore. This trail's not even supposed to be here. It's starting to fill in now, it looks like. That was here because of the tree that fell, and then working up the trail. But I think I could, since I'm going to be doing it with the A, maybe, I think I could come in through the other little way there, which I'll show you here in a minute too. But there's a tree down in there too, and I'm guessing the wind storms did that, and that's going to have to get out of the way sooner or later because I actually mow down in there. So it needs to get lost. But I need to sharpen my chain. I didn't sharpen it before first use, right? I just made sure it had tons of fuel and I tightened the chain because I like to loosen them when I'm done with them for the year. I don't like leaving my chains tight for a whole winter. Now, since I'm going to be using it all summer, I'll leave it tight. It won't matter. But during the winter months, I loosen it. So, but yeah, I just pretty much tightened the chain, make sure it had tons of fuel and oil, which is usually what I do at the end of the year, is I'll fill it up so it stays full of fuel. So in case we need it for an emergency or something, you know, it's semi ready to go. All I have to do is just tighten the chain and then it would be good to go. But yeah, so, but I don't know when I'll get around to it. Like I said, I did mow. I was debating on if I was going to mow the farm road, you know, the ditches. I think they needed it, but I think I'm just going to be lazy and just let it go for an extra week. It'll need it for sure next week, or next time I mow, depending on rain. The hay's doing, well, pretty good. It's a few inches tall now. we are supposed to get some, well, actually, I think it got a little over 70. I think like 75. That's what the phone said anyway, so I don't know. But so it was obviously t-shirt weather. And yeah, I mowed my lawn and harrowed some poo. And now I gotta trim. Well, I'm running out of time for that too. But I don't plan on doing too much trimming. I just plan on going around the house, around a couple of trees, and maybe the shop. I have a lot more to trim in the yard, but I don't really do that because one, it's in the back of the yard, nobody's gonna really see it, and two, it's a lot of trimming. I can spend probably a good 40 minutes just trimming my place. Never mind everything else that I gotta freaking do at the farm, and then I gotta trim around my no trespassing signs or whatever, just to kind of, you know, so people can't sit there and say, well, I didn't see it. Well, it's kind of hard to see it when there's no tall grass around it, right? So it's just playing dumb at this point. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much all that's going on. Like I said, I got a couple more trees I need to cut up, and we're almost here to this one. I just got to go through the ditch. But yeah, it did rain quite a bit over the weekend. I went to the young guy's farm. We went and got some round bales, and he said to at least get 3 or so, because they were talking more rain, which we did get. But the last 2 weekends, and of course a little bit throughout the week, he says that we got up to 2.5 inches. I did not have my rain gauge out because they were threatening below freezing temperatures, and I didn't want to risk my rain gauge cracking, so it was better just to be safe and sorry, because I only have one rain gauge. So, but whatever. So, you know, it's bad when the ground's soaked and you know, your bottom of your driveway is just filled with water. So, but I am going to have to, at some point, find out when they're going to have a freaking town meeting or something. I got to go look at the bulletin board thing in town and see when they're going to have another town meeting, because I got to do some griping about some gravel that we need on that damn farm road. Because it needs it badly. The grass down here is doing pretty good too. I've debated on if I'm going to mow this with the John Deere or if I'll just let it grow up and then cut it with the farmall, but I don't know. Looks like another tree I need to take down since he's overhanging. But yeah, so this part over here I mow, and it's kind of hilarious that well, it's not hilarious because the tree's dead anyway. So it's not mind blowing. But I got a lot of trees to clean up, but I just do what's threatening me at this, you know, ones that are threatening me. So now I didn't know this one even come down until about a week ago. I was down here not even quite a week ago going to make a video, and then I noticed this big, it's dead obviously. I don't know, it's been dead for quite a while. So this is where I mow, pretty much. So I was hoping, because I think I stopped basically, let's see, kind of about right here, roughly. And then I kind of went up the hill. There's a hill here. And because I didn't know where because I knew there was a stump in here somewhere. And I guess that's it right here. She's pretty rotted, so that's going to crumble easily. But it looks like this tree, it did some kind of a stupid dance. I have no clue how it did it, but it did it. Looks like it broke off of this guy. Right here, you can see how it's all broken. So it must have broke, kicked out, hit this tree, and then brought this tree down. You know, you can see it broken. Of course, this tree is dead too. So given that the trees are, dead, they're probably going to dry out pretty quick and then rot. So the slightest breeze can take them down, which is a good thing that they come down, because now I can just cut it up and get rid of it. Normally I would probably just pile it somewhere down here and leave it, but I think I'll buck it up and then I'll take it to the fire pit in town and they can just burn it, because I'm trying to clean my woods out, not make it more messier. So by getting rid of these two trees, it'll be night and day difference. So another tree that I've been working on, I haven't done anything with this now for about 5 years. It's getting to be so much, but this big guy, he fell down quite a few years ago, but he was still growing because the roots are still in the ground. But I guess the ground must have got super soft over there or something, and then the high winds or whatever pushed him over. So it was way out, kind of, about where that tree's at, right? So I've been chomping away at it. Well, if I could get rid of this stupid bastard, then I could be up in here and mowing. So, but I don't know. He gets a little bit, like the farm boss could handle it. It's still off the ground, which is somewhat of a good thing, I guess. But even after it fell, it still grew. It was still alive, for a few more years. But now, I think since I've just cutting so much of the tree off, it just, it was trying to grow here now. That's what this is. Yeah, this. So that's attached to that. And then, yeah. So, it would be nice to cut this bastard up and get rid of him too. But the root ball, unfortunately, that's what's going to have to be left behind until I can get, there's still dirt on it for crying out loud. But until I get like a bobcat or whatever, a tractor with a larger loader on it, that's going to have to just stay there. So, but yeah, the plans are to, like I said, clean all this out. And I haven't really decided too much what we're going to do with it. I figured I could have some fun down here with the little tractor and just cut all this, like, hay. But I'm not going to rake it or anything. I'm just going to cut it. But you could cut it and then rake it and then just give it to the cows right away, so just as like a treat. But I don't know, at some point we were thinking about putting cattle down here if we got enough ground. There's more ground, further down the trail. This just happens to be an easy spot that I can get to and slowly clean out with time. So I want to clean up in here between these two trees. I don't see a stump, so I should technically, all I got to do is just clean up the branches and then maybe cut those smaller trees down and then, get rid of that. Now, this tree branch broke quite a few years ago. I don't know if it's hooked up here or if it's just kind of sitting. But, see that guy right there? It looks like a tree, but it ain't. It's part of that upper half. See where it broke way up there. But I don't know if it's still hung up or still hooked together or hooked to the tree, or if it's literally just resting up against it. The only thing I could do is whenever I get the 15 up and running again, just hook my chain to it and just tug on it and then see if it breaks off or whatever. Because it would be nice to kind of mow even where these tree branches are at. But last year I mowed pretty much right up to, here. Right where this branch is at, right where this branch comes out. That's where I stopped. Because this needs to be cleaned out. This was fenced off. Obviously you can see there is some fencing, or what's left of it. So my great-grandparents' cattle were roaming down in this spot. So, but, see, then I have another tree branch that fell, which won't be too bad. Pick him up, just chuck him over there for now. So maybe I can at least get in here and mow. There is a stump here, which surprisingly I didn't really know was here, because I think I mowed here, but it's just pretty rotted. So right there, that's a stump too, but it's very small and it's rotted. So I mean, if I hit it with the John Deere, I think the stump would give before the mower would. So, and then I want to, get rid of these little baby trees. Cut this branch off because it's hanging here and getting in the way of mowing. I don't think that's a stump right here. I think this is a large chunk of bark that needs to be picked up and gotten rid of. That's a stump. We can just mow around that for now. There was a frog. So, but yeah, I mowed all up here. I also want to clean this out up to this tree. All this is just branches again, because trees have fallen. And trim it to the tree, and then I could pretty much go right through that with the mower, just go straight, and then it would look a lot nicer. And then there is a stump over here, but again, it's rotting, so it should crumble apart if I keep picking at it. It's pretty big, but it's so rotted that I don't know. But it's still pretty solid yet, but it's rotted, so I can't just kick it over. It won't come out. So I want to try to get in here and mow around this. So then this is just all by itself. But I do see some branches and shit in here and some new trees trying to grow, which I'll just run them over. And then obviously I've been mowing up in here. So you can see I do mow quite a bit, but I mean, I think if I had a 1025R, well, I mean, even if I did, I wouldn't use my mid-mount mower. I would actually take that off and then get a 3-point mower and just sacrifice that for down here. But until I get a 1025R, I gotta make do with what I have. So once I get a 1025R, well, then it's gonna be a totally different game. You really can't get brush hogs. Like, if I could get one for the A, that'd be okay too. But the problem is that those PTOs on those tractors are offsetted, so your drive shaft would be on a funny angle, and the PTO doesn't engage unless you let off the clutch. So it's not an independent. So, and then obviously I'm mowing here, just a little square. But this tree fell down. I got a whole big freaking mess of trees down here too. This wasn't like this last year. So I used to mow right up to here. So basically with that tree, and you can see these branches kind of sticking past it. So all I got to do is just kind of trim the trees back. But I was hoping at some point I could get in here, but yeah, that's Bobcat stuff for you right there. That's way too much. At least with the Bobcat, you could pick it out and then safely cut it and then load it up and get rid of it. So, but the plans kind of were, well, we didn't really know what we were going to do. We were thinking, maybe put our cattle down here because we just weren't getting enough ground. But we've been putting our cattle on the ex-mayor's field, which is that chunk of land next to ours. It used to be ours way back in the day, but the great-grandparents sold it, and I wish they wouldn't have, because now trying to get that back is going to be pretty much non-existing. So, but at least if it was our land again, then I wouldn't have to bother the ex-mayor all the time. I have to check in with him every year, at least once a year, to make sure that he's still going to be okay with us putting cattle on his land. So, plus that way, if I did ask, which I did, if somebody gets all bitchy and gripey because we got an electric fence in that field, well, then they can't really go after me or the ex-mayor. I was like, well, this is, you know, we have permission to be here. They can't try to spin the story on us and say that we're doing this illegally, you know. So, because we're not, because we get permission to do it. So, but if it was our land, we wouldn't need permission. I just fucking, you know, I'd put no trespassing signs up and leave the fence there. And then be done with it. But originally we were thinking about putting cattle down here. I mean, this wouldn't last probably even a week. Just fence off, you know, what you see here. I mean, it wouldn't last. Maybe you'd get 3 or 4 days out of it. I don't know. Because we're up to 10 cows now? 9? It would be 10, I guess, if my cow has a heifer this year. I don't know what she's going to have. So, but, you know, it would still be something. It would maybe buy us a little bit of time to figure out what we could come up with, but then we already came up with that plan. Just put them on the big square field. Once we cut it off, you know, let it grow for a couple of weeks, and in that time of it growing, obviously, we could be moving the bales, stacking them into a corner, and then electric fencing off whatever we think that we need. So, because if we put them, well, it probably would change. Because right now we have another piece of land that we're using too. It's a little rental piece, but it's probably about the same size as this. Maybe a little bit bigger, but the problem is that the grass is kind of shady because there's a lot of weeds in it. And it's just not worth it. It's not really getting to be worth it because the cows eat it within a week. But we still put them on it because it buys us a week. So, but since we're can put them in the ex-mayor's field, well, we put them in that little piece. That'll last them about 2 weeks maybe, and then we put them in the ex-mayor's field. That'll last literally probably close to a month, depending on, you know, how much rain and shit you get, right? So, and then from there, we could close off the little piece, and then that can, you know, slowly start to grow back in again. And then they don't eat so much of the main pasture too. That'll all again allow that to grow in a little bit. So, but I don't know. But for a lot of years, this was, you know, probably even 20 years ago, we were thinking about maybe getting some goats, because they would destroy this grass. They would love this. Again, we'd have to put an electric fence up for goats, and then put the goats down here. If we didn't plan on putting cattle down here right away, or for that year, well, then for one thing too, I wouldn't have to mow this. Just let the goats mow it, right? But then we figured, well, we could put some cattle down here, but the problem is that they're not going to have water. There's really no access to water, so we'd either have to haul water down here, or we'd have to push them back up into the main pasture just to get a drink of water, right? So that's why this wasn't really going to work. But there is a pond further back in there, but that goes dry by the middle of summer. So, you know, it's not enough. So, but I don't know. It's good grass, and there's not much for weeds in here because obviously I mow it like my lawn. So it's pretty much with time it has killed everything off. But that's the plan with all this anyways, to come down here and cut those freaking trees up and have at it with the mower again. So, but yeah. So I don't know. It is what it is. At least we're getting something done. So, but I gotta put the farm boss in the shop and check the chain, retighten it again, because it usually likes to come loose after a while. Stretching, obviously. And then sharpen it. It needs a good sharpening. So, but I don't know. It is what it is, right? So, at least that's being done, you know. Shut this one window. It's getting cool out now. Of course, it's getting cooler down here in the woods. Once you get into town, it'll probably be like 90. So, but yeah. So, lots of things done today. I don't think I'm going to get trimming done. It'll have to be pushed off till tomorrow. Oh yeah, and the other thing I did today too is me and my grandma planted some flowers. She wanted to plant some flowers. We're still not done. I mean, we're done for the flowers, but she wants to plant some vegetables and stuff just in some grow bags. We're not doing it at that large volume anymore in the garden because it's too much, and we don't have a tiller anymore because the transmission blew out in it and it just wasn't worth fixing it, and we don't have a tiller, so we can't till the soil properly. So we are just going to abandon that until whenever in the future, I guess. By then she'll already be dead and gone probably, so it'll just be pretty much me and Mother if we want to do something with it. But for now, we're just going to let it turn back in the grass and not worry about it. So but we'll grow stuff in grow bags, just enough to give us a little taste, I guess. And yeah. So that's pretty much it. It'll probably be a couple of weeks yet before we decide to plant anything else. It's still a little bit too early. Some stuff likes to be planted a little bit later in the year, so we're going to wait until later in the year then. But in the meantime, we're going to get other things done. So, but for now, like I said, I hurled some cow pies and whatever else. There goes some deer. But yeah, there's not much to report. That's really all I did. We will, at least the hay's coming in nice. I hope it, hope we get a good, we didn't get a flood this year, so the hay is really going to probably take a hurting. The only thing that's going to fix that is a lot more rain, but we need a break now. But like I said, I gotta, whenever they have another fucking town meeting, I gotta make a complaint about gravel because the farm road could sure use it. It needs to be graded too, but I guess if you wait until it's mush, then you could grade it for yourself with a vehicle. But shouldn't have to. It's something the town should be freaking doing, but they don't. So, I guess whenever they have a next meeting, I will tell them, like, hey, it's time to lay some gravel. Some real gravel, not some sand and dirt. So, but I guess, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm going to take off. I'm done. That's it. So, it's farm. I'll put to work again. Mowed my lawn for the first time. Whatever else right? So, whatever else. So, yeah, the ditch is still full of freaking water. Unbelievable. But yeah. So I know I made a video quite a while ago. One guy wasn't too happy, I guess, about it because I didn't show the guy here with all his trash in his yard. Well, there's kind of a reason to why I didn't show it, and I'm pretty sure I had explained it, but it's because there's still an ongoing war between these people, and now the whole entire freaking town. They've been letting their dogs run loose around town, and I have video evidence of that. I may or may not insert a little clip here of it, but they've been running around. They actually broke into my garage last night, ate all my cat food, and they were out all fucking night because whatever, I don't know, they just didn't fucking care. So, but you had to do what you got to do, right? So, but they've been listening now the last couple days. I think they finally got their ass chewed up by somebody. And now they're finally fucking listening. But we'll see how long that'll last. It'll change. So that's why I haven't showed much of anything, because I'm still seeing what's going on with everything else now. So, and I don't know what they were going to do with the junk. And now with the dog situation going on, you know, I kind of want to make like a one big boom video kind of like thing, right? I just want to be able to bitch slap them with every freaking thing I got. So, but what do you do? So, but yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm home now. I gotta take my antenna off the roof and lock up. So I still got my air tank in the back too. I had to put some air in the farmall. You know, the little one, the one back drive tire she was a little squishy, so I put some air in it. I still got some air in the tank yet, but I think it'll be all right for now. So, but yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna take off. So I guess I have a good day and stuff. So yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Take her easy.